there, this is Cece with WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and you are listening to Going Solo with Cece. And it's so great to have you guys with us back here again, and we love you so much. So we're so glad that you tune in with us each and every time. We're trying something different tonight. Instead of doing just audio, we have the video part of it. So I hope you will bear with us because we're kind of winging it, and we're going to have a good time. So I'm really excited about that. So tonight I have with me a fabulous guest, and we're going to kick this off really right and on target. But I have Tinzley Bradford. Welcome, Tinzley.
Hi, everybody. How are you? And hi, Cece.
Well, it's great to have you. Now, you are an author, you are a motivational speaker, and a dating coach. Your book, your latest book, you actually have two books out, but your latest book is called Settle Free Dating Method for Women. And I think that is so fascinating, and you really do want stress-free, and you don't want to settle for the dating thing. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this?
Well, my book is called "And the Settle Free Dating Method for Women," which is a no-nonsense advice guide to remind you that you are more. I got into this because of my dating experiences over time, and the many mistakes and bad decisions that I found myself making, and also noticing not only myself, but people who I love and friends, and just people, observing people overall, making these poor dating choices. And so I myself began to be fed up with just no nonsense, ridiculous foolery in the dating. Probably no longer going to settle for this type of behavior, but I'm going to write about it and make it where no one else will too, because they'll notice the signs and symptoms of a possible no match and move on. So it caused me just to start writing this book, speaking about it, giving women signs that they should look out for in case they feel like they may want to make a dating decision that may not be a good fit for them with someone.
Yeah, that is so spot on, because I think so often we start dating and then we meet someone and we think, okay, it's not going too bad. But then we start seeing things within that relationship that we start questioning, but then we don't stop and say, maybe this isn't quite for me. We just keep thinking, especially as women, we keep thinking we can change things, we can fix it. And then we find ourselves into a relationship that isn't going to work at all. And it's very hard to get through that breakup. So now you're a single mom, right?
That is correct. I am.
So you've experienced going through, a relationship loss, and then moving yourself through to now dating. So what advice can you give to ladies if they're looking to start, getting back into the market, back into dating, back into, starting a new life for themselves?
Right. The advice I can give is make sure you are ready, and that you have a lot of love for yourself first. That you feel you can date yourself first. And what that means is, are you dateable? Are you the type of person who you would date, and so let alone someone else. When people go into relationships broken or not feeling confident about who they are or their current situation, you're only going to take that into a relationship. And most of the times, a lot of ladies go into a relationship with these high expectations that the guy that they're dating is going to come save a woman, or the superhero to come in and save you from your distress and financial woes. And many times these days, guys are struggling too. And so you want to make sure you're going into a relationship with the right frame of mind, that I'm dating this guy, I'm getting to know this guy, I'm trying to see where he's going, I'm trying to see where this is heading, and I need to make sure I'm getting what I want and deserve and need out of this relationship. And those signs and symptoms need to be there early on. I don't need to feel like I'm having to force it or beg the person to be in my life. So I just feel like be whole when you're already going in. Have yourself together already. Be confident in who you are. Be sure and certain of your own value and worth, so that you won't overlook important red flags that, like you said a minute ago, we tend to overlook and ignore and try to move forward.
Excellent advice. I wonder too, should we start doing homework prior to dating? I'm wondering if we work on ourselves a little bit more, we start understanding ourselves a little bit more, then we can be a little bit more authentic, because I think sometimes we're not as authentic as we should be. And
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so I think that's really great. I like the idea of your book. I love what you're saying, the settle-free dating. to really, I think we should all do that, both men and women, you know, because men do it too. You know, I'm not saying that it's just a woman thing. I think men do it too, and maybe they're not, you know, getting everything that they want out of life. But where do you draw the line when uncompromised?
Well, it just depends on what it is that you're faced with when you're dating. For me, I don't go right in a relationship and going, oh, this guy right here is not working the kind of job a guy who I would date should be working, so I'm going to next him and kick him to the curb. No, you don't do that, because people have to, number one, start somewhere or recover from somewhere. You know, he may have had a good job at one point and something happened where he lost it, but at least he's back out working now, trying to get back on his feet. So I'm not going to judge you because you're down working at this restaurant and I feel you should be working at some corporate office or running your own business. So where you would draw the line is when there's clear, like, abusive signs of someone that's controlling, you know, and we know what those symptoms are. Some of us do, some of us don't. When you're dating someone who, after a while, they no longer want you to see your family or hang out with your friends. They want to control your every move. They want to make appointments for you because they want to know where you are. Not because they're trying to do something nice, but because they want to know where you are, exactly how long it should take for you to get your hair done and nails done, what time you should be back home, who you're calling. If you're hanging out with your girlfriends, they get mad instead of excited that you have healthy, vibrant, exciting relationships with friends outside of your own relationship. There's a lot of jealousy and rage. You constantly find yourself fighting back and forth. That's not the type of relationship to be in. It's unhealthy and it's toxic. So I always say, when you start seeing that in the early stages, you shouldn't even move forward, because you're already arguing about petty stuff. What is that relationship going to evolve into if you're already arguing just in the dating stages of the relationship about simple stuff?
Right. You know, I've often thought that dating is like a dance. You know, it's like you initiate it, you start it, and if it's great, you'll continue dancing. But if it's not, you know, you're going to either move on to the next one, or maybe you'll dance again to see if it works out. But sometimes I think we take too much into the dating, and we want to make a full commitment right off the bat. We think, okay, this guy is the perfect one, and we're going to be going with that. And, you know, maybe that's not the way we should look at things when we're approaching dating. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think that we need to stop going right in with the mindset that this is my boyfriend already. This is going to be my husband already. We need to go in the mindset that we're dating. We're hanging out and having a good time. I hope this goes somewhere. I would like this to grow if he's the one, but I'm not walking in the door already, hey, this is going to be my husband. The moment we go on a date, I'm not going to be calling you saying, why didn't you call me back? Or why didn't you do this and that? Why didn't you call me every day, all day for the rest of this week? You know, it's like, you can't be too desperate looking. Of course, we do have those expectations, because we can be very sensitive. If we go on a date with a guy who's been calling us all the time and texting us all the time, and then suddenly when we go on the date, we don't hear back as much, we will start to feel funny. When in reality, he may be saying the same thing, like, hey, I don't want her to seem that desperate and stuff. So he may back away for a minute, but it's all about how he starts to be consistent from that point on. You don't want the guy you're dating to suddenly back away and then stop calling you and texting you and showing any interest, because then now you're really dealing with something. But if, you know, we walk in with the frame of mind that we're just simply getting to know them, just like you build friendships when you go to school. You know, the first day of school, many times you don't know anyone in the classroom, but you don't walk in the door saying, hey, Jimmy, you're going to be my best friend. You just go into school every day, and Jimmy and you start bonding more and more, having lunch together. Then you and Jimmy bring toys on share day, and then you and Jimmy play on the playground. You and Jimmy then become really good friends over the school year. And you didn't even have to plan that. So just like a relationship, you just got to go on a few dates, get to know the person, talk, go out somewhere, hang out at family gatherings or friend gatherings or whatever you're doing. And over time, you'll start seeing that evolving into this probably really, really great love affair. And that's what you want. You want it to be natural, not orchestrated or planned or forced.
Absolutely. That is so true. You know, I wonder if, what about like the 3-day rule? You know, when you go out and you date someone, you kind of feel, I've heard this, women say this before, is like, you know, I go out and I date and I kind of feel like I've kind of lost control of it a little bit. You know, that now I'm like waiting. It's like a waiting game. You know, will he like me again? Will he like me enough to date me again, take me out again? And you almost feel like you're not kind of in the driver's seat, you're just kind of in the passenger. What would you say about that?
Mm-hmm. I just feel like, it should be a natural thing. Like whenever you go out, his actions will show you if he's interested in you, and you won't have to do a lot of pursuing and chasing and begging. You won't have to keep texting and asking, hey, are you interested? Because once again, he's going to show you he's interested through his actions. He's going to call you and talk on the phone to you. You're not going to have to force him to do it or remind him to do it. You're not going to have to always initiate the conversations because he's going to want to talk to you just as much. But I will say, after you go on a date, it's okay for you to be the first person to call. You can just call, hey, I had a good time, it was nice, and kind of sense the vibe from there. If it doesn't seem like he's showing the same type of vibe, could be after getting to know you after that date, he may no longer be interested, but you got to give it time. Because what if when you guys went out, he just learned somebody that he really loves passed away or whatever may be going on? I'm not saying make excuses for him. Be very cognizant of someone who's inconsistent, because consistency is the truth, or is the key to knowing how interested he is. However, the very next day, sometimes there's always mixed emotions. Maybe he fell too quick, or he's fallen too quick, or he's trying to like slow it down or whatever. But you never want to feel like you're kind of waiting around to see what he's going to do. Just initiate it. If it doesn't seem like he's interested anymore, just back away and move on. Because I feel like you're going to become insecure. You're going to start worrying and feeling stressed and feeling like you're not good enough if you sit around waiting and saying, well, he didn't call. And every minute you're picking up your phone going, is he there yet? No, that's not him. Or you texted him, hey, I just texted you, text me back. I think that it becomes very emotionally draining and stressful. And then you start looking at yourself as not, once again, not good enough. So I just feel like you have to kind of like initiate it. If he doesn't seem to call first, if he's not continuing to call anymore, you don't even have to say anything negative. You just read between the lines. Hey, I hope you're all right. I had a good time. Hadn't heard from you. Hope to hear from you soon. If you don't hear anything back, then he's probably not interested anymore.
Right. Now, what about dating more than one person at a time? Do you think that you should, just continue on dating and
I think dating is very healthy. I believe I put a chapter in my book about that. I think dating is healthy. I don't know exactly what chapter it is, but I know that I talk about how when you go out on dates, and I think it says, whatever happened to dating, that's chapter 18, and I think that's where I talk about that. A lot of times we tend to think that the moment we go out with one person, it's a wrap. We're stuck to that person. We're glued at the hip. That's our man from now on. No, you have to go out with a few people. Now, if you sense that you want to be committed to the one person and you feel the chemistry, sometimes chemistry is just unbelievably unreal to the point where you're like, wow, this really feels like the one, So if you feel that with the one person, if you want to keep just dating the one person, go for it. I'm not going to say don't do that. But if you feel like you're just trying to get a feel for who may be the best person, go out on a date with this guy. I'm not saying go home and go hit the sack. Have fun with him, talk to him. Does someone else want to ask you out on a date maybe 2 weeks later or maybe another week? Go on another date. Find out who you feel is on the same page and level with you and seems to be showing interest in doing the same thing and wanting the same thing you want, which is a long relationship. You may go on a date with the one guy and he makes it clear he's not interested in settling down. So he's already told you what you want to hear on that next date. Then you got another guy who's taking you out. He's letting you know off top, I'm hoping to settle down with that special somewhere. So you go, beep, 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 beep. He's the one that's talking my talk, So why waste your time with the other one who just told you he's not looking for that? Next, you have to move on. That's what I tell people. Next, if he's not showing you any interest, tell him next. And go for the person who's showing you the interest that you need and giving you the attention you want.
I love what you said about, letting them talk and you listen. You really listen to what they have to say, because I really do feel that a man will tell you instantly what he's really looking for and what he's looking for, what he wants, what he's going to settle for, all of those kind of things. And if he's in it, if he's in it for a relationship. And so you'll hear that at the very beginning. So I totally agree with you on that. So let me ask you, what if you go out with a guy right at the very beginning and he likes you so much, he says, listen, I'd like for us to just date exclusively to see where this goes, even though you haven't really gotten to know him, but he wants to try to just take you off the market, really. So what do you think about that?
I think that's great. If you're interested in being with one person and you're ready to settle down, hoping that that's going to go somewhere, I think you owe that much respect to give him that opportunity to show you if he can wow you and, sweep you off your feet enough to make you his woman eventually, and then eventually, hopefully, his wife. If you're dating several guys while that's going on, you're going to be all over the place and can't really focus on the one and see what he's doing and seeing where it's going. Now, if he says that to you and then you start noticing these signs and symptoms of him not keeping his word, then next, you can't be sitting there listening to him say, I want to date exclusively, then he's not keeping his part of the deal up, kind of like putting you over in the corner and making you feel stuck to date him and be committed to him, but then he's not doing what he said. So that's a waste of your time and probably his too. But if he's showing you those signs and he's showing you that attention and he's being consistent, as you see, I keep using that word consistent, it's important. If he's showing you consistency in his actions, then chances are he's serious. And so you owe him that and yourself to be patient with the process. It's a process. And I always use my work or jobs as an example. You know, when you go to work, they always give you the 30, 60, 90-day test to see if you're a good fit for the role and how you're doing over time. And then they see where it's going. If there's inconsistencies, you're not coming to work on time, you're not performing right, there's always issues. Sometimes they can't depend on you to get a job done. After a while, they're going to be like, this ain't working. So the same thing goes with a relationship. If he's sitting there doing things that's not right for you, and you notice inconsistencies and sometimes the lies or things that don't add up, and you're left hanging out there wondering and feeling a way about something and not comfortable, then in my opinion, you already see what you need to see, and you don't need to be exclusive anymore because he's not showing you those signs. Now, let me say this. When they say let's date exclusively, that doesn't mean it's time for him to start coming over every day, moving up in your house and being over there all day. Because the last thing you want is for someone to be all in your space and get so comfortable that they feel like they can get a key and start coming in. Then you're stuck with some idiot, possibly, or some lunatic having access to your personal domain. So be very careful about your steps when you are dating exclusive to one guy, about how quickly you let him in every part of your life. You don't want to be too vulnerable or gullible at that time. But you do want to be patient and give him an opportunity to show you what he's trying to do if he's really serious.
Right. So you want to take it in steps, just slow steps. And so being exclusive is just really not seeing anyone at that time. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a full-blown relationship with them. So it's yeah, I think that's great. Now, being a single mom, what would you say about, single moms dating, single guys dating? Any advice there that you can give them?
Yeah, you just got to make sure that person's understanding that your child comes first. I mean, I'm not saying when you guys go out for a romantic date, you're going to have your child sitting in his car seat in between you guys at the bar, but they need to know that you may be out having a good time, and then a call comes in that concerns your child. You may have to cut it short, and they have to be patient with that. Because being a single mom, you may not have the father there to run and go and get the child and take care of that. You have to stop the date and run and get the child. And that person needs to know, even if it happens more than once, that that's not competition. That's just a part of the package deal. That's your child. So you need to make sure you're dating someone who, number one, likes kids and respects the fact that you have your own child already going into the date and into the relationship, and that they're patient and they're willing to understand that, hey, when something goes on with my child, I'm out of here. So you can't get mad going, you always go see about your child first. You're darn right I do. So you have to be patient. And soon, if that person becomes your hubby or whatever, then he too will probably be very involved in helping with the child, And of course, if you all plan to have your own, depending on where you are in life or in stages of life, then it'll be not only the one you have, but the one that you already had that he'll be responsible for helping you out with. So I just say date, have fun, still let your hair down, still be vibrant and sexy. Don't let yourself go just because you're single and don't have a guy right now and you're trying to raise your child by yourself. Don't walk into a relationship looking for him to be daddy already. Just let him know, hey, I got a child, and this is a part of the package. Are you okay with that? Find out where his head is on that. Don't start saying, oh, hey, sweet, look, little Jimmy, you got somebody who's trying to be daddy. He'll take you to the park. You might run the guy off because he's already thinking that you're labeling him as the child's father before he even bonded with you. He doesn't even know who you are.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Do it. Yeah, still have fun when you're single. Don't let it. A lot of people feel socially awkward because they're single. Some of their friends have men, they're in relationships, they're already married, and you may be the only one in the circle who's single. You feel awkward, but you can't let that stress and pressure get to you, number one. Number two, you can't let that stress and pressure make you feel like you have to run off and settle for any old knucklehead just so you can fit in the circle of friends who already have relationships and they're married or whatever. And number three, it's okay. It wasn't your time, And I'm sure you've dated so many times, or you may have used to be married and you got a divorce, whatever, or your husband may have passed away. It's reasons why people are single. It's not always that they're a problem or they're mentally ill and there's an issue with them and they can't find true love or they're weird. It's because of various amounts of things may happen. They may have just got out of a relationship. You know, all kinds of things could have happened. They may have said, you know what, life-changing events have happened. I'm not dating nobody right now until I get myself together. You never know what has caused them to be single. So we got to do better when we come around with judging people. Well, why are you still single, Dean? Is something wrong with you? It's not always something wrong with someone because they're single, you know? So go in with a fun mind frame when you're dating single, but let that person know my child comes first. Sorry.
Now, what about if you, let's say you're the one that has a child, would you date someone that has never had any children?
Yeah, I would date someone if they're willing to date me and I already have a child and they see that. Yeah, I would date someone that's never had children. Now, it depends on where I am with my life too. If I don't plan on having any more kids and naturally this person who's never had any says, oh, I want kids, then I have to be honest and say, well, we can kick it here and there, but I don't think I may be the one you want because I'm not having any more kids. So you may want to find or date someone who's willing to have some more kids, and I'm not the one for that.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you have to be on the same page, don't you? You really have to be on the same page. Yeah. And so let's talk about that, being on the same page. I've often feel, and I've said this before, is that I feel what's really important when we're dating is understanding, number one, our core values, and also being able to, you know, talk about those with other people and see if it's a good mesh for us, what their core values are. So what do you think about that?
You have to. I've been doing that lately. I've added that to my very important things to do when I'm dating and getting to know a guy. Discussions, conversations, and you just have to wait till the right time to have certain discussions and conversations, but they have to be had. You have to talk about what's important to you. Start treating your relationships, taking it more seriously and planning it better. Like you plan your future, like you plan on purchasing your next car, or like you planning on saving up your 401k. You planning the job. Does it have the type of health benefits you have? You asked all these questions. Does it have a 401k? Do you have full retirement? I mean, you have to ask the same questions in dating. Does he have plans on, you know, if we get together, will we be moving in his house, or will we plan on getting a house together? Where's his head at? Does he plan on keeping his job for the next 5 years? Is he getting ready to quit? Is he trying to be an entrepreneur, and how's that looking for us? If I say I want to date this guy, he plans on just throwing his job to the side, hoping for this dream entrepreneurship to work. Let's hope it does, but are you willing to go the route with him on those days that it may not be happening? You just right. You have to have those conversations. What is valuable to you? What is important to you? How can you compare that together as a possible growing couple and see if you mesh well? If there's things he's talking about that don't seem to make sense, I wouldn't necessarily say judge him, but I will say be honest about what you're willing to accept while you're dating the person. If you know you're not on board with that type stuff he's doing, then you don't need to hang out. You know, I was telling you the other day when we spoke, long story short, I was getting to know a guy, and he had so many habits that I'm not used to, you know, from smoking, self-medicating, hard liquor, these things that he does, no driver's license. I'm just saying things that he does is not in sync with what my values are. So now if I go ahead and move forward with that, I'm opening up the door for, okay, no problem, I'll come pick you up again. No problem, I'll drive. I'll pick you up, I'll drive. Oh, it's okay if you've been smoking. It's all right. I'll just spray my car out from that odor. It's okay. I don't mind the cigarette smoke in my clothes, even though I don't smoke and I don't want to smell your contact smoke. You have to be honest. Are you okay dating someone with those habits that you don't have? It's not that you're judging him. You're just being realistic. When you come home, do you want to smell cigarette smoke or other narcotics or whatever in your home? You know, are you okay with dating someone where the moment you say, okay, go ahead, you can use the car one time, he runs up the streets and gets stopped by the cops and then the car gets towed? I mean, are you okay with that? You have to be realistic with who you're dating and the problems, the baggage that they come along with. Are you okay with it? If you're not, then I'm not going to sit there and say badger the person and verbally abuse them. I'm not dating you because you don't have it together. I will say, just be honest, you know, make a secret mental note. I don't have habits, and just slowly back away and go, I don't think it's going to work with us, but we can still hang out and go eat a couple of times, maybe do a movie. Because once again, Cece, friendship is okay. You can have friendship and it never leads anywhere. It just be friendship. And over the time, guess what? You or me or whoever's dating could influence that guy to change. He may have some bad habits now, but he may start hanging around you, the type of people, and he may start saying, you know what, I don't need that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. Not that you're forcing him to stop and say, stop, or you're not dating me. You're not saying that. It's just that your influence without the extra self-medications that he's doing has caused him to say, you know what, I don't even want to do that. And if it's clear she doesn't like what I'm doing, then I like her. I like her enough to change these habits that she's not comfortable with. So be friends, you know, be okay with just being friends. You don't have to label it. Once again, when you go to school, you don't say, Jimmy's going to be my friend. You just let it happen. It ended up being a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
well, it's really honoring yourself. And I think the more you know yourself and the more you understand what's important to you. And so we're, you know, when we're talking about our core values, we're talking about certain things like maybe your religion, you know, what you believe in, you know, certain things that are very, very important to you. Again, being a single mom, you know, your children are important. Is he going to be able to understand that, you know, accept that, be able to relate to that? Those kind of things. But then also, like you said, those habits, we all have them. We all have stuff. And then you have to realize, you know, is this important? Is it not important? You know, can we make some sort of exceptions to it? Because it isn't written in stone. But there again, if you're going to make a compromise in your own self, in what your own belief is or whatever, then you're not really being true to you and you're not being authentic to you. And really you're settling. And that's what you're trying to tell us to do, is to not settle.
Right.
And I think that's so great. So tell us a little bit about how we can get a hold of you if we want a little bit more information, and how we can get your book.
Absolutely. My book is available on Amazon. Here's the cover. Once again, it is The Settle-Free Dating Method for Women, a no-nonsense advice guide to remind you that you are more. My blog is called And You Want to See My Feet? And you have to say it with attitude. And you want to see my feet? Maybe in another interview, I'll tell you about the backstory of that if we talk again. But go to andyouwantoseemyfeet.com. And I would say TinzleyBradford.com, but I'm getting a whole new website revamp. I'm so excited. So my TinzleyBradford.com is under construction, but you can visit there as well when it gets open. But And You Want to See My Feet is up. I'm available on all social media channels. If you want to see me on Twitter, it's Tinzley B, TinzleyB. If you want to see me on Instagram, it's Tinzley B on Instagram. I'm on Facebook at Tinzley Bradford, which is author Tinzley Bradford. Google, I'm also on Google Plus under my Tinzley Bradford name. So pretty much any and everywhere, my name or my first name and initial is where you can find me at. I just, you know, I love giving back, and I love giving any type of advice and insight that's going to help people be better. And I utilize that same advice for myself as well. And I do offer coaching sessions for people having a hard time breaking away from making those bad decisions. Low self-esteem, whatever it may be, trying to recover from an abusive relationship or a violent relationship. So I do respond to any and every of my social media engagements. I'm not one of those people where you sit there and leave all these comments and you're trying to engage and I don't say anything back. You email me, you will get a response. That's another thing. You can email me at tinzleybradford@gmail.com or tinzley@tinzleybradford.tv. That's as well.
Well, that's great. Well, I tell you, this show, what we're going to do, because we're doing something a little bit different, we're going to have the audio part of it up on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. But we're also going to be able to play this video and have it out for everyone so that you can see. So I hope you enjoy it. You know, it's something that we're kind of doing, and I've been feeling a little bit insecure about doing it, but you know, shoot, we just have to go with it and you know, attack our fears. You know, that's what it's all about, is being able to face things that we might feel a little bit uncomfortable with. And dating is actually one of those things, which you know, sometimes it's not so easy to do. But once you get in the swing of things and once you start feeling good about yourself, you will attract the right people to you, and you'll have fun. You'll enjoy it, don't you think?
Yes, and I will say you definitely have the face for TV, so you have to do this more. You look beautiful on here.
Oh, well,
So
thank you. Oh, you're very sweet. Yeah.
you make sure you do it more. You know, don't hide that face behind the PC. Just go on here and start doing these videos. I'm glad you did it.
That more. I'll try to definitely. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Well, I think today is it was a great show. Tell us if just in closing, is there any last advice you want to give to our viewers and our listeners?
My biggest advice would be just don't give up on yourself in anything that you're doing in life, whether it's trying to find true love, trying to land that dream job, chasing that dream that you've been wanting for yourself, your passions. Don't give up on yourself and sit around and swindle away in self-doubt or self-hate or start becoming where you're, I guess you could say, doing bad things to yourself, sabotaging your own future because you feel depressed. It's easy to get down and out. Don't do it. Surround yourself with positive people. Realize that whatever it is you're doing in your life, everything is not going to always generate income overnight. I mean, if you're like an entrepreneur seeking to try and make it on your own and have your own business, there's going to be days you're going to make money. There's going to be days you may have to do something for free just to get out there. Be okay with that. In dating, when you're in relationships, you may date 10 different people and none of them turn out to be the right one. That doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with you. It just wasn't a good fit. Be careful with how you're, coming across. Don't be too desperate. Don't be too anxious for a relationship. Just like we talked about earlier, grow into a friendship. Take the time to get to know people. We don't do that anymore. We want to rush into a microwave relationship and expect it to be our husband overnight. That's not how you do it. Learn more about yourself first, and then learn about others as you continue to date. And I wanted to also mention this. I don't know if any of you all are in the Atlanta area, but coming up October 29th, I have been cast in this huge stage production called Lipstick Monologue, Traces of Her Lipstick by the amazing and talented playwright Audrey Orey, and it's going to be at the Plateau Theater right downtown on Lucky Street in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm excited. Lipstick Monologue is going to be 19 women that gets up there as different characters and different women, and all of us can relate to at least one of those characters. It's definitely something you don't want to miss. So when you go to my site, you'll see information on there. Under my events coming up, you'll be able to see how you can either get involved or book a ticket or learn more information about that. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, that sounds like fun. That really sounds like fun. Well, yeah, definitely give us the information. We'll post it, or post it on our Facebook page. That would be great to be able to share that with the listeners and the viewers. But just some advice from me is go out and buy her book. And her book is Settle Free Dating Method for Women. Men, I'm going to give you a heads up. If you want to know about a woman, start reading books that women read. Start going to places that women go. Start doing some things that women do. And you will be able to meet a wonderful woman. And you'll be able to understand them a little bit more, because I know that we're a little different, but we are fun. so that's not so bad. So definitely go out, buy her Tinzley Bradford, and it's Settle Free Dating Method for Women, and you can get that at Amazon.com. Tinzley is a motivational speaker and a dating coach, and thank you, Tinzley, for being on the show today. We do appreciate it. Okay. Well, this is Cece with Going Solo, and
I appreciate you for having me.
Oh, thank you. You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, and it's so great to have you on the show. So thank you so much for being here.